Hello, my name is Tom Walton, and I'm the founder of smarttechalliance.com. And there's three things that Smart Tech Alliance does for people who join. And one is they provide them technology that is designed for service organizations, service contractors, multi-site organizations that have many different trades doing work on their buildings. So we provide the technology to automate the processes both in the field and the office. But the thing that we're going to talk about today is what we call Diagnose First. It's technology that allows technicians to diagnose with the purpose of creating legitimate additional work, supporting the client's needs to get problem solved and supporting their company's needs to have more business. And so this is a technology discussion, but I also want you to know that we provide expertise, support that helps techs and the organizations they work for become more focused on using this technology to create business. So this presentation is called Diagnose First. And we think that it's really a smart solution. Our tagline is, now that's smart. And let me explain a little bit. Really what we're doing here is we are going to be building your service cells, your service work, the work that you do for your clients through this Diagnose First strategy and technology. Let's start where this started. Probably 15 or more years ago, we had a situation, I had a situation where I had techs that worked for me, and the techs were your typical, service technicians. But what was very unique about it is that I partnered with a very special service technician. He had been in the business. He had been a tech starting out, and over the years, he started his own business, and he was just really, really savvy when it came to servicing and the kind of things that technicians face in the field. He had a belief. He believed in techs diagnosing before replacing a component or system, even when the failures were clearly obvious. So the example that I saw often was, client calls in to the dispatcher or whoever, and they say, I'm hot, my building's hot. Technician goes out and immediately he sees that the compressor's not operating. And he would then, replace the compressor, find the part, remove the old compressor and all the things that you do, remove refrigerant first and so forth. But this partner of mine, this amazing service technician of mine, said, even when you know what the end failure is, do you know what caused it? So he really believed in diagnosing before jumping to conclusions. It wasn't uncommon for him to inspect equipment after his techs had completed their work. On a service call or even a maintenance call, he'd get up on the rooftop or wherever the equipment was, and he'd take a look and see, what had occurred. Inevitably, he found problems and therefore work missed even by really smart techs. His years of experience working with techs and being a tech, even working with skilled techs, is that often, sometimes, many times, whatever your case may be, they do not have a disciplined diagnostics procedure to follow. And so through no fault of their own or the fact that maybe they're not real observant, they do not discover all the problems that are there when performing service or maintenance. And this is really big because I thought I'd been in the business for a long time before I became partners with this person. I always, sent technicians out on maintenance, and we did PMs, and on a service, I assumed they were diagnosing. But what he showed me is when you get up on a rooftop or you look at a split system or a furnace or whatever you're working on after the tech has done the work, many times you will find work they missed, problems that are there that they really needed to resolve, along with the primary failure component or whatever the case may be. He discovered that because techs typically are directed by dispatchers and their service managers to focus only on the failed component, and think about why for a second, but they focus on that failed component and not diagnose its root cause, all sorts of bad stuff happens. And, again, a dispatcher nor a service manager would purposely, guide a tech to go beyond opportunity. But typically you're in a situation where possibly the dispatcher has other work to, the tech has to get to. The manager's trying to get all of it done, and they're just trying to get that compressor working so it blows cool air and on to the next job. It included techs not diagnosing and techs being sent to the next job. Now think about it. They're on the job. If it's a maintenance call and there's no failure, there's throw some filters in, do a little PM. But often the dispatcher and the service manager are really pushing on that tech to get to the next job because there's other clients that need help. This resulted in incomplete problem solving. High callbacks. Think about it. If you don't solve the root problem for why something has failed, there are going to be callbacks. Mad clients. You were just out here a year ago and the compressor failed and now it's failed again. And what you didn't know because you pushed that tech off the roof is that you had some kind of problem with the refrigerant. Maybe it had leaks in the refrigerant circuit and it had created a situation where it was pulling in moisture and you had acid. But you've got mad clients now, and you missed work because you didn't diagnose all the opportunities when you were on that compressor failure call. Lost business and lost hours for your tech. And that's not good. That's the kind of bad things that happen. He put in a policy in our partnership that I didn't appreciate for months. And then years later, I really do appreciate it. His policy is that techs who did not or do not diagnose thoroughly and so missed legitimate problems with their clients were asked to leave and go to work for our competitors. It was kind of our competitive strategy. Take the techs that aren't willing to be, disciplined and thorough in their work and send them on to work for our competitors. We like competing with that kind of company. And I will tell you, when I first saw that policy for little years, I thought it was a tough policy. But I will tell you, technicians having been brought up in an industry that really talks PM, but they're really not in practice diagnostics in their nature, it got their attention. It was really the best way to get their attention and help them be better at diagnosing and therefore give their clients all of the information, all of the problems that led to the compressor failure, so that when we replace the compressor or the condenser fan or whatever the case may be, that we're not prematurely replacing it sooner than it has to be. Here's the bottom line, and you'll see that the little guy up here has now got a grin on his face. Our techs really paid attention to diagnosing. Clients were happier with diagnose-based quotes and recommendations. Work and parts usage went up naturally for our company, and techs got more work hours. All of this was good for everyone concerned.